The command to build the Mishkan comes at the beginning of Parashat Terumah, and they shall make for me a sanctuary, and I will dwell in them. Two of the most famous commentators on the Torah, Rashi and Ramban, disagree as to the nature of this command. The main disagreement is exactly this command took place. Did it take place before or after the sin of the golden calf? Ramban believes that unless the Torah specifies otherwise, it is written in chronological order. Therefore, as the diagram shows, the command to build the Mishkan occurred before the sin of the golden calf, Chet HaEgel, because that's where it's found in the Torah. Ramban says, after Hashem spoke the Aseret HaDibrot face to face with Yisrael and commanded them some fundamental mitzvot via Moshe, and Yisrael accepted upon themselves to do anything that was commanded by Moshe, and they made a covenant about this, and therefore Hashem commanded the matter of the Mishkan, and there he will speak with Moshe and command the Bnei Yisrael. Ramban's view makes logical sense. The Mishkan was always the plan, and it represents a way of perpetuating the Sinai experience into a set structure, whereby the Jewish people would have a focus of worship through their desert wanderings. Rashi's approach disagrees, as he holds the principle that there is no chronological order to the Torah. This doesn't mean that the Torah is in random order, rather that the Torah prefers a conceptual sequence rather than a chronological one. And Rashi notices that the command to build the Mishkan reminded him of the sins of the Jewish people did at the golden calf. They used gold to sin, and were commanded to donate gold to the Mishkan. Bitzalel is commanded to build the Mishkan, and his grandfather Hur was, according to the Midrash, killed as he tried to prevent the sin of the golden calf. The quote we started with says that Hashem will return to dwell amongst Bnei Yisrael. Was this because Moshe was told to move his tent away from Bnei Yisrael after the sin? Rashi believed that the Mishkan was a way of rectifying the sin of the golden calf, and took place after the sin. But why do we need the Mishkan? We have seen two very different approaches to the command of building the Mishkan. Ramban felt that the Mishkan was a way of continuing what was started at Mount Sinai, whereas Rashi believed that it was only necessary to refocus Bnei Yisrael on worshipping Hashem after they mistakenly decided to worship an idol. Either way, we see that Hashem intended for Bnei Yisrael to have a central focus, a place where they could see Hashem's presence. It wasn't enough to just rely on past religious experiences. Judaism is for the here and now, and the Mishkan served as a place where Bnei Yisrael could reconnect to Hashem. The Mishkan was another step in ensuring that Bnei Yisrael became a holy nation. First, the people were made holy by being set apart from the nations through the covenant at Sinai. This is sanctifying the people. Then we have the commandment to sanctify time, both on Shabbat, which we learn in the Ten Commandments, and on Chagim. Finally, we sanctify place with the Mishkan, a people set aside for Hashem, on days set aside for Hashem, in the place set aside for Hashem. Have a look at the Jewish people's various holy places throughout history. The chief rabbi once said that the prophet Ezekiel was one of those who shaped a vision of return and restoration, and it is to him that we owe the first oblique reference to a radically new institution that eventually became known as the Beit Knesset, the synagogue. This is what the sovereign Lord says: "Although I sent them far away among the nations, and scattered them among the countries, yet I have become to them a small sanctuary, a mikdash me'at, in the countries where they have gone." Ezekiel 11:16. The central sanctuary had been destroyed, but a small echo, a miniature, remained. The synagogue came into being not through words spoken by Hashem to Israel, but by words spoken by Israel to Hashem. We tend to forget how profound the concept of a synagogue was. Professor M. Stern has written that in establishing the synagogue, Judaism created one of the greatest revolutions in the history of religion and society, for the synagogue was an entirely new environment for divine service, of a type unknown anywhere before. The synagogue became Jerusalem in exile, the home of the Jewish heart. It is the ultimate expression of monotheism, that wherever we gather to turn our hearts towards heaven, there the divine presence can be found, for Hashem is everywhere. How do you relate to your local synagogue? What does your shul mean to you?